What up, VC? Kieran here. Second VC video. Been watching a lot of videos. Andrew, Champ Sound, shout out to your videos. Really loving your videos recently. Discovered the VC, I guess, earlier this year, maybe around January when I ran out of Crate Diggers videos to watch. Came across some VC videos, got into it. Seco Funk, first video was inspired by you. It really got me out there digging, looking for new records, looking for stuff I didn't know before. I love the VC for that. You just hear people talk about stuff. You go out there and they stick in your mind, the images, the names. Then when you're digging, you come across stuff that you hear about in the VC and you check it out, stuff you might not have checked out before. So here I am again making another video. I reposted my first video last week. I had actually made it a few months ago and posted it, but I switched my YouTube. I have a few different YouTube accounts for different blogs I have, so I had posted it on my personal one, which I don't really use. But either way, I'm gonna do a jazz digs video. Some of these are really recent digs. Some of them are a bit sprawled out over the past few months, but all kind of inspired by the VC, the videos I've been watching. So I'm just going to share a bit about, share those records with you guys, see what you think, show you what I got, inspired by you guys. Yeah, I won't talk too much about the records. A lot of them I need to listen to a bit more, and you can always listen to records more. So start with a few records I got yesterday. I was in Ottawa for a day, had a few hours to kill, and I went to the Record Center. Shout out to the Record Center in Ottawa. Really good store, a lot of records. So first one, I got a few records there, not many, is Pharoah Sanders, Spotlight on Pharoah Sanders with the Latin Jazz Quintet. Sorry, this is the second time I make this video. It's getting dark, so losing the light here, but I messed up the first time. That's the record. I don't know if this is an original or not, because on Discogs, there's no year on this one. And the other one is called Oh Pharaoh Speak. Same record, but different release name, Oh Pharaoh Speak. This one is on Upfront, a label I don't know, but it's a pretty cool record, Latin Jazz Quintet, funky, groovy, Latin vibe, with Pharoah blowing away. So that's the Upfront label. Don't know it. If you know anything about it, let me know. I don't have a Pharoah collection. I was watching a video recently, maybe today, Andrew, of yours talking about growing your Pharoah collection. I don't have a Pharoah collection. I'm ashamed to admit it. I find when I see the Pharoah records, they're not in great shape and they're expensive. So I'm just waiting. I'll watch. I mean, I've listened to some Pharoah, Jewels of Thought. I've seen that, but just banged up and stores asking for a lot. So I'll wait. I'll find them. Pharoah, I'll find you. This is something, not this particular record, but this artist, Mal Waldron. A few people, I think Andrew, you've been mentioning him, and some other VC members as well. This is one I got. It's still sealed. I think it's an original. It's a French press. I think it may be the only press. It's the only one I could find on Discogs. The Whirling Dervish. The record label is America Records, Stereo GU. So yeah, this is pretty cool. I haven't listened to it yet. I checked it out on YouTube this morning quickly, one song. It's pretty out there. It's, I don't know Mal Waldron. I know he played with a few people. I think I have him on a few records. I can't remember. Is it Mingus he played with? I don't know. I can't remember everything. Or no, sorry. This Mingus. Charles Lloyd played with Mingus, I think. Bizarre. Same thing with this, which is bizarre, is that I don't know if this is a UK press, so I don't think it's an original. But same thing as with the Pharoah record is that it's released under a different name. In the US, I think it's Discovery or Discover. That's a green CBS UK label. This is Charles Lloyd's first solo record, record as a leader. I don't own any Charles Lloyd, and I know the name. I've seen that live one. What is it? It's a yellow cover. I see that around. But yeah, I'm looking forward to checking this out. I just grabbed it as I was leaving. But yeah. Oh yeah, the Mal Waldron, like I said, sealed. So I'm looking forward to listening to that. I know I keep mentioning you, Andrew. I've been watching your videos a lot. I just discovered your channel last week or the week before. You keep talking about, I've seen in 3 of your videos, the Elements Joe Henderson record. I downloaded it. I haven't found the record yet, but it is sick. You were not messing around. The Earth track, the bass, woo, and the drums. But I did find this. I walked into a store, the Kicker, Joe Henderson Sextet on Milestone. It's good, late 60s. I think it's his first one on Milestone. It's really good. That's the, wow, you can't see that Milestone. There you go. That's what that looks like. Block out the reflection. There was 2 of them there. They weren't super expensive, but they weren't super cheap. This, I think, is the better one of the 2. I was tempted to get both, but you can only buy so many. So I got this one. The other one was Tetragon. So if you know anything about it or whatever, let me know. But this one I was happy with. I think that's the original press on that label. There's a few different Milestone ones. There's a green one. I use London Jazz Collector to research labelographies, Impulse, Blue Note, Prestige, Milestone. I mean, it gets complicated, especially with the Blue Notes, the Impulses. So I don't know if anyone else knows London Jazz Collector, the blog, but I mean, it comes up on Google pretty often if you're searching for stuff. That's how I found it. But such a good reference for, he's put a lot of work into it, and I appreciate it. So London Jazz Collector, thank you. This is something I picked up just in this strip mall, like up by my parents' house, for even further, this like store that sell like a dead mall, a used record and like DVD CD store. My mom's like, oh yeah, there's records I saw, blah blah blah, and there wasn't much. It was kind of crap, but I went with her one day when I was visiting my parents. Dennis Coffee, that's what I found there. Electric Coffee. So sample to death. Detroit jazz funk. A lot of breaks on here. It's pretty sick. It was cheap. I also found a cheap copy that I already own, but of Booker T soundtrack, Uptight. So I picked up another copy of that. I'll give it as a gift. I don't know if you can hear in the background right now. This is Nucleus, Under the Sun on Vertigo. Canadian pressing. I think this was something that Derek had mentioned, or maybe Van, but I'm digging that jazz, funk, psych kind of deal. It's good. These, I think, are 2 records, the next 2 that Van had talked about, Secco Funk, and that I had never heard of, and then I just saw them when I went digging shortly after, you know. Andrew, I know you said it, the records find you. So this is some really out there stuff. Heiner Stadler, Brains on Fire, on Labor Records. This, I need to listen to this again. I got this a while ago. I listened to it a bit, but I definitely need to revisit this. So I'm going to show you the label because it's kind of cool. I think it's cool. It's pretty funky. And that's interesting. The labels don't line up. One is like this, and then if I flip it, is that normal? I've never noticed that they're not even the same. They're pointing different ways. Anyway, so this one was cheap because of seam split, but hey, I don't know when I'll see this record again, so I got it, and you can't always buy mint condition expensive records, so you get some cheap ones. Volume 1. This has players on here, don't know, I know some of them. Joe Chambers, Joe Farrell, Reggie Workman, Don Friedman. So yeah, that was cool to find. It's always cool when you see someone talk about a record you don't know and then you come across it. It's a good feeling. I mean, that's just the high you get from digging. That's why we do it, right? And here's another one that's very out there, free jazz, revolutionary ensemble. That's Jerome Cooper on percussion, Cerrone on bass, and Leroy Jenkins on violin. This gets heavy. There's just one song split onto 2 sides. Vietnam 1 and Vietnam 2, both 23, 24 minutes. I'm not an audio expert, but this one here, it says, to play the stereo recording in quad, attach the leads of the 3rd speaker to the plus terminals of your amplifier. Avoid possible amplifier damage by obtaining assistance from an audio expert, not me. I will not be trying that, but don't really know what that means. I could Google it. Either way. Revolutionary ensemble. That was cheap too. It's kind of banged up. The records are in okay shape though. This I got cheap because of some sleeve marks on it. Probably not too rare, but I had never seen it before. Miles Davis record. There are so many of them on Columbia. Now I'm getting into the labels, the more known labels. This is recorded live in concert. I can't remember where this is recorded. Where is this? Oh, the Philharmonic Hall at Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts. I don't think I've been there. I've been to Lincoln Center. I went to see the NEA Jazz Masters Award Ceremony. They give free tickets. You just got to apply online. It's pretty cool. I think they were honoring Jack DeJohnette that year and a few other players, but that was cool to see at Lincoln Center in New York. So this is Miles Davis, Herbie Hancock, George Coleman, Ron Carter, Tony Williams. They do So What, they do There Is No Greater Love, which whenever I hear that makes me think of Blue in Exile from Below the Heavens. And they do 7 Steps to Heaven. Anyway, this is a good live record. I think it's mid-60s around there. Growing my Miles collection. Maybe one day I'll do a Miles and like Coltrane, you know, video once I get enough of them. If anyone wants to do a video Miles and Coltrane, or you know, feature one artist that you have a lot of, I'd love to see what you have. I mean, especially those prolific artists like Coltrane, and Miles, so many. They were band leaders for so many dates. I love Blue Notes. I love Blue Notes. I don't have many. Mono, Horace Silver Quintet, Further Explorations by. I think this is a second press because it's still deep groove, but it has the ink. I think this was released, I think it switches around 58 or something. That's when the transition from the incorporated with the R. Once again, check out London Jazz Collector Blue Note if you want to know. I'm not saying he's the expert, but he seems to have done his research, and I always use that as a guide when I want to buy a Blue Note, because I can't always remember. I have some of it in my head, but it's good to double check to know if it's a first pressing, second pressing, or whatever. I don't know how I think Van, you did a video on your impulses. I was very jealous. So since then I've been kind of looking out for impulses. There's some amazing impulse records, but then other ones I get excited, I see impulse and it's just not my kind of music, you know, either it's Dixieland. I've seen the folk ones. There's a couple around 24, 25, 824, 25. And then there's some of the jazz that's just less exciting. I mean, the Coltrane records is so out there, and there's some amazing ones. The Yusef Lateef, Freddie Hubbard, Archie Shepp. I mean, the list goes on. The one I'm about to show, Sonny Rollins, East Broadway Rundown. This is a second press. Once again, I learned about impulse releases from London Jazz Collector. This label, I think it started in '68. And there's like a first release of these, and then there's like a early 70s release where the address at the bottom, the way it's written changes. But what's nice is they still have these glossy, reflection covers, which are freaking gorgeous. But just note when you're digging that just because it has that glossy cover doesn't mean it's an original, or when you're looking online. A lot of online auctions it'll say original, but that doesn't mean it's the first press. For Blue Notes and impulses, stuff like that. It's kind of deceptive. I mean, either they don't know or they're trying to deceive you. This is another impulse, but a Canadian press. Into the Hot, Gil Evans. See, thick. The Spartan releases, they're the originals, but they're the Canadian ones. But if anyone knows anything about the Canadian releases in terms of sound quality, what people think, there's not. I've looked online a bit. I haven't found much. That's what there's 2 different color labels for the mono and the stereo. That's what the Spartan Impulse label. Whoa, sorry. Just lost my light on my screen. Do you guys film your videos with your computer, with a camera? I thought about doing it with a camera, but then I can't see the labels I'm showing you guys. as much. This way I can see, you know, what I'm showing you. But if I'm doing it with like my SLR, I can't see as well. So wondering what you guys do, what works for you, what you edit your videos with. This is mono A9, so an early Impulse. I just bought, I don't have it here, I'll show you guys after, because I've been into the Impulse and stuff, I bought The House That Train Built, that book. I started reading it. If you're interested, check it out on Amazon, cheap. A few Prestiges, I love Prestige. This one is funky. Sure enough, Sonny Phillips. Sure enough, it's funky. Sonny Phillips on organ, Virgil Jones on trumpet, my man Houston Person on tenor sax, Joe Jones on guitar, Bob Bushnell on Fender bass, and Bernard Purdy, Pretty Purdy on drums. Of course. This is an original, the blue label there for those of you. Here, I'll show you this one. Original. Original for that time. The 60s Prestige labels. Once again, if you want a rundown, I think Legend Jazz Collector has a rundown of the Prestige. That's what that looks like. This is funky. I like this. The Prestiges here, I find are expensive. The originals, you know, these are 60s originals, but for around that time, they're like 30, 40 bucks. I know, Andrew, you talked about getting some cheap ones, but I don't know what the currency exchange is with Australia, but they're expensive. And I like Prestige, but same thing with Impulse. Some of the Prestige are amazing, and some are like more average. Billy Butler, I got this. Not really sure why it was Prestige. There's a song on here that just grabbed me. I think it's the title track. There's a good vibe to it, but I don't know if it's regarded as an amazing album or not, but I was digging it. Houston Person again on tenor sax. And on Group B, Side B, you got Sonny Phillips again. So yeah, Prestige. I think Van, you did a Prestige video also, which again, always jealousy factor there. Soul Blues, got some blues on Prestige. Lightning Hopkins, check that cover out. What? Amazing. So good. Love it. This is incredible. I love blues. The blues is what I grew up on. My dad listened to blues. That's what I grew up on. My first kind of music that I really love. To me, it's so soulful, and that's why I love this title, Soul Blues, because blues, I mean, it's just a different type of soul music to me. I love the acoustic blues. I don't know. What do you guys think about blues in the VC? I haven't come across too many people talking about blues in the VC, so I know some people maybe don't really like it. Me, it's up there with soul, funk, jazz. I mean, it's not as complex as jazz, but in terms of instrumentation, musically. But also, I don't collect too much blues. I find it's really expensive, original blues records, and there's not as many of them. This is a couple more quickly. Oh, this is something I also picked up yesterday, so I knew there was another record. At the Ottawa store, Cannonball, Adderley, Phoenix, late 70s, mid 70s. I think it was his second to last date. It's not, I mean, it's funky. I like that stuff. I've been listening to a bit of Cannonball 70s stuff recently. This has some George Duke on it, Nat Adderley. I listened to Black Messiah, which is cool. I almost picked that up. I hesitated, and then it was gone. It was a bit expensive. I think it was $40. I didn't get it. And also Inside Straight, I have an MP3 of that, which is, I like that. I mean, if you like the music, I don't care what people say. It's funky. This is a reissue of this I never had. I'm going to make a reissue video, because I have a bunch of stuff that I have the reissues of that it's getting really dark. But, you know, I know we should like to show originals, blah, 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 but I'm never going to own everything, period, or let alone the original of it. So when there's a good price on reissues, so I'm going to make a video on that. This is Saturday Night Special. I mean, this is one I've had my eye on for a long time. I'm never going to own the original. It's stupid expensive. This is a Wax Poetic special release. I think it was from a few years ago, and I just saw it. It was sitting at one of the local stores, and they had it on sale. I guess because they've had it for a few years. This is handwritten, not that I care really, but to show you, you can't see. So it's a 1500, we're pressed up, and waste of time. This is 1286, but I need to listen more on this. There's some good stuff on here. I mean, it's a classic, I guess, digger record. Some cheap stuff quickly, a few more. Archie Shepp, Trouble in My Mind, Trouble in Mind with Horace Parlan. Just well, it's bluesy, but it's just sax and piano. I like this. This was cheap. If you see that, pick it up. That's from 1980 on Steeplechase. I'm just running quickly through them because the video is getting long. Ron Carter, all blues. Something to be said about CTI, like, I don't know. I picked up another Ron Carter album. It was so lame. I have something to say about this, and I talked about it when I made this video the first time, but not enough time now, so I'll talk about it another time. But I picked this up because Joe Henderson and Billy Cobham, and this one's pretty good. The other one I picked up, oh my god, anything goes. There was a couple funky breaks on there and stuff, but the songs are just cheesy. And then you hear people, you see Ron Carter on, now I'm getting into it, on dates where on recording sessions that were so good, and then he goes and cuts this just like cheesy, corny record. It's disappointing, but hey. Art Blakey, Buddy DeFranco. This is a 1980 Affinity Press. This is an early 60s recording between them. The reason I picked this up, other than it was cheap, and I love Art Blakey, is I love Lee Morgan, and Lee Morgan's on here. So yeah, I'm not really into clarinet, but this is pretty cool actually. I mean, it's 60s. It was recorded at the height when the Jazz Messengers were just killing it on Blue Note. And then they went and recorded this. I can't remember what label it was originally recorded on, but hey, you got some good playing on here. So yeah, anyways, that's it for now. Oh, what the hell? Oh no, I talked about that. Okay, so thank you, VC. Thank you for everyone making the videos. We're losing the light here. That's my recent jazz digs. Like I said, some of them are new, some of them I've had for months, but I'm new to making videos, so a lot of videos, if I keep making videos, they will be from records that I've already picked up over the past year when I really got into digging. So yeah, leave some comments. Let me know what you think. I love the interaction. So keep the videos coming. Peace.